All right, let's move on to defense now, Mike. We got the defensive line. I'll tell you, I don't have enough good things to say about this defensive line. This was fantastic. It felt like Jack Sawyer. Dude, that quarterback, I started feeling bad for that. Jack,
Honestly,
Jack Sawyer was killing him, man.
yeah, it was bad. I was honestly like, these coaches, like, y'all gonna be an investigation if y'all don't pull this kid out, because like this was almost like malpractice, like almost like if you was a doctor and you was allowing this to go on, it's like, come on, man. So I felt bad for that kid. They kept showing him, and the one thing that it looked like, he looked like he was in pain the entire time, which got me thinking it had to be rib issues, because like even when you're breathing and you have a rib injury, it's gonna hurt. And that's what I thought that he had. I can't believe he stayed in the game that long. Shout out to that kid and his toughness. It is Ohio football. That's how we do. Yeah, we don't come out the game until our coach tell us. As my coach used to say, you don't want to be the next Wally Pip.
That's true. That's true, man. I at one point, even when he was out of the game, they showed him. I think they showed him twice, and both times he was like head back, just like holding his chest or his stomach or whatever it was. And I was like, man, I'm laughing, but I feel bad for you, bro. That hurts bad. JT with a speed rush for a sack. I was loving it, man. I was like, man, we're seeing JT. He's not just going back there trying to power through a tackle. He's actually doing some speed rushes, getting off the edge, going around some guys. Tyleek, I don't think he had any huge plays that made me think there was anything fantastic there, but he played well all game. It was just consistently well. Hamilton did well. I mean, at the end of the day, other than Jack Sawyer, like I don't have any complaints. Not even saying I have complaints about Jack Sawyer. I'm just saying we talked about him. I don't really have any complaints about anybody else. You'd like to see maybe the 3rd and down, 4th and inches, guys not get that, but
Right.
I mean that's nitpicking at that point.
Yeah, shout out to the defensive line. And this is exactly what I said. I said Jack Sawyer and JTT did not come back to play last year's scheme of playing contain first as your assignment and then going after the quarterback. What we got to see is everybody was saying, where's all of these pass rush moves? Where's all these pass rush moves? They weren't using the pass rush moves because that wasn't their assignment last year. You saw JT knocking the guy's hand off of him, not being using his hands, using what Larry Johnson likes to call all the tools in the toolbox. You seen him and Jack Sawyer getting out there, getting sacks. This was something that we was talking about. We needed to see. We wanted them guys to get more sacks, get home. And shout out to Jim Knowles making that correction, allowing those guys to fly, pin their ears back, and make plays, man. So shout out to the defensive line. And then also, them guys getting out there late, the young guys, Kenyatta Jackson getting back there, Hero Canoe making plays back there. Heads up play by Edric Houston. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, shout out to the defensive line. Looks like we have a bright future. And as Larry Johnson said and Jim Knowles said, we're pretty deep at defensive line. We can go ahead and rotate guys all day.
100%. Yeah, and that was something I think it was the second quarter the first time I saw like Kenyatta and them in there. I was like, man, Larry, good job. You're getting Kenyatta in there. You're getting these other guys. Kenyatta finished himself with a half sack. Caleb Downs had a half sack. JT had 1.5 sacks. And Tyleek had a sack. Oh, and CJ Hicks too. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like you can't ask for much better pressure on the quarterback than 5 sacks. And then on top of that, you had 10 tackles for loss as well. So, I mean, those guys were in there. They were wreaking havoc. And I agree with
at one point, wasn't Akron negative rushing yards? So I mean,
I think in the third quarter they were negative rushing.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, you be nitpicking about this defense if you start complaining about that. So.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I like what Brian Myers says here. He says overall the defense looked good, but there were a few drives where Akron was able to stay on the field. They only scored 6, so it's a minor complaint, but they need to end drives more consistently. Would have liked. Oh, okay. So, saying earlier, we'll talk about that in a second, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you could, like I said, you can nitpick and go on with like like to see end drives sooner, and I mentioned that with the 3rd and inches and the 3rd and short and 4th and inches stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you're tiring the guys out. You were just letting Akron make mistakes and hurt themselves in this one. So, I guess we appropriate just go straight to linebackers then. Like I said, CJ Hicks with the sack. Sonny Styles was out there. I'll tell you one underrated play that I liked from Sonny Styles was when they lined up for, I think it was 4th and inches, and they brought that quarterback in. This was when the other quarterback was still in the game, Finley. This was when he was still in the game. They brought that other quarterback in, and it looked like they were going to sneak it, but instead he took it to the outside and did the option play there. It looked like Sonny was going to bite on the sneak there for a second, but he didn't bite on it. He got close to the line. He still chased the guy down. Of course, It was 4th and inches or 3rd and inches, whatever it was, so they still got the first down. But I like that Sonny wasn't over aggressive. He thought about it. And in a game when you don't have Cody Simon out there, you still have smart linebacker play between Sonny and CJ and the other guys that filled in as well. And hey, shout out to my Marysville guy, Gabe Powers. Marysville is where I'm from. And him getting the pick 6, it was at the end of the game. But me and my dad, we were watching this game. We were like, yeah, get the Marysville guy in there and get the touchdown. So I love to see it.
Yeah, I definitely love seeing, the linebackers. Like we said, the linebackers, we thought because they were more, no shade to the other guys, it just is what it is. But these linebackers are way more athletic than what we have been dealing with. And so I am so excited. You saw it. When they get the ball in their hands, like Gabe Powers, he knew what to do with it, knew where to go right away. I mean, to be honest, like some guys don't, can't, do that fast, like catching the ball like that and they drop it or, it just go right on the ground. Shout out to these guys, man. I think that we have something promising. And also remember, I think that defense and really the offensive game planning was very vanilla. So we really didn't show much. And then I'm telling you, we let these linebackers pin their ears back. I think it's going to be something beautiful to see, something that we've been missing at Ohio State for a while.
Yeah, I don't think I saw a single like exotic blitz, maybe a couple twists here and there, but I mean, you saw CJ Hicks when he was blitzing, he was just kind of getting close to the line of scrimmage and going. And on that one where he got the sack, it was kind of like Olay. They thought he was faking, but he came straight for the quarterback and nailed the kid. So I mean, yeah, it was definitely vanilla. It was one of those situations where they were playing a lot of off coverage. I felt like Jim Knowles was just kind of like, they're going to make a mistake eventually. Don't let the big plays happen. They did have that, I think it was like a 30-yard pass to the tight end or something like that. So, you would like to see that cleaned up a little bit. But at the end of the day, it was a very just keep the offense in front of us, no big plays type of thing. But I did like to see the aggression, like we mentioned with the defensive line. And even when you're vanilla, when you got athletic linebackers, it's not so vanilla because of how athletic they are and how much they can wreak havoc on the other team.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's just mesh all the secondary into one, right? We have the
BIA.
Yeah, BIA. We got the
Yeah.
safeties. Lathan Ransom, leading tackler on the team, 8 total tackles. He had 2 tackles for loss. You also had Caleb Downs with, like I said, he had a sack, so that was good for him in this game. Jordan Hancock, Denzel Burke had an interception. Davis Igbinosun had the play at the beginning, the late hit thing, which, like, he started to tackle before the guy slid, which I think is so stupid. Like, if you start initiating your tackle and then the guy slides, I don't think it should be a penalty on you, but whatever. They're trying to protect the players, I know, and I don't want to get mad about, protecting 18-year-old kids, so I can't get too mad about it. But what were your thoughts on the secondary there, Mike?
Man, I love the secondary. What were we saying? We don't got no picks. We don't have no picks, man. Hey, Denzel Burke said, he told us, we're changing things. You gonna see it. And just to see like, oh, the wide receiver thought that he caught it. No, like to be fast twitch like that. And I hear guys wanting to call Denzel Bradbury, all of this stuff. He's not a top corner and all of this. He just showed you why. He didn't give up on the play and was able to just go ahead, take the ball right out of his hand. Now, he did get a little bit greedy on one other play, but shout out to him, man. I love to see what BIA was doing. Like you said, Caleb Downs, he was coming back there. He made that sack. He also made another play. He was in the backfield to help with a tackle for a loss as well. So Lathan Ransom, basically with like almost another pick six. Gotta pay the ransom, man. Or no, it was a fumble six. My bad.
Yeah, it was a fumble.
Gotta pay the ransom. Shout out to him. He did his thing. And Iggy, they tried my man Iggy down the field. Iggy was in good coverage. Love to see it. And I just remember Buckeye fans, like, a lot of y'all be too critical, bruh. I remember when our DBs was getting burnt toast. Like, what was that? 2021?
21, 22. Yeah. You can take your pick, brother.
They was getting burnt toast. They are right there in the hip pocket of the wide receiver to make a play each time. You can't ask for nothing better. Shout out to OG Walt for what he is doing, man, because BIA is back. And then also shout out Matt G. Like I said, what he's doing with the safeties. Some people thought that I was hating. I'm not hating. I want to see this team be great. I want to see all of our coaches be great. And I saw them look good out there today. So.
Yeah, they look good for sure. Lathan Ransom, I love that TD for him. I mean, him coming back from the injury and having that was huge. Brian says here, not sure if you already talked about it, but Akron being able to shut down the interior run game was a little concerning. I mean, it kind of happened more with Quinshawn than it did for Trey, right? I feel like Trey's athleticism took over when he was running. He was able to kind of bounce it to the outside. I do think, you're working with two brand new guards in this one. We talked about the offensive line in that case where they maybe weren't getting the push you would love to see, but it's one of those things you can improve and get better there. And Donnie Jackson will be back. And I have to believe, All-American coming back, that's definitely going to improve that area there. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that I just like wrote it off and was like, it's no concern at all. But at the end of the day, I feel like you said, there's areas to improve. This is something that obviously is not going to remain this way.
Yeah, I think there was one play, like I said, it was happening fast. And, I'm not rewinding the TV and everything. Yeah. But I think like Austin Centerville, like he was supposed to pick up someone, but he stayed on the double team and didn't pick that person up. Like I said, those are the mistakes. Those are the things that I think that you need to clean up. Also, a lot of people were saying, oh, this is just Akron. This is just Akron. Still Division I team. And also they have been getting better and better and better every year on defense, and they have a lot of veterans on this team. Again, like I said, veterans going up against first-time starter Austin, first-time starter Tegra. There are things that, this is why I've always been a proponent of going ahead and getting young guys reps, because they're going to learn something more in the games than they do in practice. You cannot replace game reps with just practice. It just does not happen like that. And you're going to see the guys get better. Like we said, we saw Josh Simmons get better throughout the season last year. Watch these guys get better. And Tegra, he's a mauler. Watch him get better. So I'm not about to flip out about this. It's game one. Also, you got to think about it. They're young. These kids, they go out there. Oh, this is just Akron. Look who we got. We got we got this, we got that, we got this. We ain't got to go that hard. Like, they're still young. They're going to think that way. So, I mean, I think you'll end up seeing it when they line it up with someone who they've been looking forward to all season long.
Yeah, man, I agree. It's one of those things. You'll see the improvement. It'll get better. And I think sometimes, we look down on other opponents too much. It's like, oh, well, we're supposed to be so great. And, this team did this to this FCS opponent. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, this is still like Akron. They have pride. They're going to try to come in there. I bet a lot of these Akron kids had parents coming in and watching them for the first time in the shoe or whatever. I mean, like at the end of the day, and we know, like, it, like you said, very first start for some of these players, they'll get there. I'm not too concerned about it. Now, if I see this again against Iowa, then I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more. But, for now, it was all good. All right, so back to the secondary for a minute. I do want to talk about just one more thing. You had Denzel Burke with the interception, and you had Davison Igbinosun on the outside, really just getting into those receivers. I mean, they weren't getting away from from him. Do you see this kind of aggression with jumping routes and really, I mean, obviously it's going to happen with Iggy. We know how he plays, but do you see this kind of aggression stay in, or do you see kind of the same thing we saw last year with them playing a lot of off coverage, staying away from the big play happening more? What are your thoughts going forward here?
Yeah, going forward, I think what you're going to see is, and this is what I'm hoping, because one thing that Jim knows is you have to attack and dictate. You can't let the offense just sit there and just tee off. And I don't think that we are supposed to be a bend, don't break defense this year. I think that we are going to be attacking, but why do it against an Akron when you don't really need to? Why put that on film when you don't really need to? I think when those games when we actually need to, we'll put that on film. We'll go ahead and do that. You'll end up seeing CJ Hicks probably blitzing it in exotic ways, using him even more. But there's no reason to put that on film right now at all. So I mean that's my whole thing. And also, like, we heard about them working on getting turnovers, so we know that they're going to be aggressive. Yeah, so it's like I said, it's Akron, to be honest. Playing vanilla and then still getting two defensive touchdowns. I'm saying, just wait till this stuff you're getting exotic and Jim Knowles getting his bag. Because like I have always said, I felt like Jim Knowles' 2022 defense was a really good defense. I loved it. The way it was attacking. I just felt at that time we didn't have the Jimmies and the Joes, especially in the secondary or whatever, because like I said, they were getting burnt toast, right? So we got the Jimmies and Joes this year.
Yes, we do. We got the Jimmies, the Joes, the Johns, the whatever else you want to call it. So we got them all. All right, let's talk some special teams here, Mike. You mentioned Brandon Edis. He had 4 punt returns for 60 yards, a long of 36. You had Jaden Ballard with 1 kick return. He took for 23 yards. Jaden Fielding had a kick he made all 7 of his additional extra pointers. Joe McGuire, we saw him. I thought we were going to see McLarty. That's kind of I was when I first saw McGuire out there, I was like, dude, this dude is not 6'7", 255. That's not McLarty. I was expecting to see a tight end out there putting the ball, Mike.
Yeah.
But let's start with the returners first. Ballard, Ennis, what were your thoughts with them?
Man, watching Ballard out there, I liked it. He got, his 1 return, and I was like, okay, I think that we actually see like a future, something better with our kick return specialist. So I want to be able to see him, get more. Well, actually, you really don't want to see him get more. 1 a game, that's good with me. I'll be happy with that. But Brandon Ennis, shout out to SFE. This is what we have been wanting. This is what you want in a kick returner. Someone who is a DAWG. Dogs. That's what you want. And you saw how aggressive he was. And I'm telling you, like the first punt return that he tried to take back, I was like, oh my goodness, this boy had caught that clean and it didn't do all that bouncing and weird stuff. I think that he might have took that one to the house. I thought that was the one. But I mean, he told us he was going to get us one, and I'm banking on it. He is going to get us a touchdown for a punt return. I'm excited. I am looking forward to the future of punt return with this guy. It's back, baby.
You could tell he wanted it so bad, man. I mean, like every time he got some yardage on a punt return or something like that, he got up and he was like screaming and just excited. I mean, they got a sideline warning when he had that 36 long back coming back there. So, I mean, I was loving it. I was so excited for him and what he was able to do. I'm with you. We're going to get one at some point. Maybe it's against Marshall. Maybe it's against Georgia. I don't know who it's going to be against, but it's going to come at some point, and it's going to be feeling so, so good when it finally happens. And guess what? If they don't get it, we're holding Ryan Day accountable because he guaranteed it.
Yeah, he did. Him and Ennis.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know how much there is to talk about this here. Jaden Fielding got his field goal he made. Like I said, 6 extra points or 7 extra points he got there. Joey McGuire, he had 3 punts. Any thoughts on the kicking and punting? I know it's so exciting. Everybody wants us to talk about it.
No, here's the thing. You're a kicker. You got one job. He went out there and did it. To me, he should grade out a champion. So shout out to James Fielding, man. He took care of business. And like you said, when I saw the punter go out there, I was like, that's not who they said. That's the other punter. And then you can hear at the end of the game, the broadcasters was kind of talking about it, why he wasn't out there. And I guess he had a bad week of practice. So, hey, I like that because we also heard James Laurinaitis talk about whoever's having a better week of practice plays. That's what I believe in that. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. He must have saw my post and they got too arrogant or something like that. I made a post about him on Twitter that a lot of people liked. So, get back in there, get in the lab, McClarty, and keep working. We're rooting for you, man. Brian does bring up for Brandon Ennis, he said he took a couple risks as a punt returner. He fielded a couple of punts that would have made a little nervous against a better opponent. I did notice there was one, I think he fielded it like inside the 5-yard line or something like that. And I agree. I was like, oh, Brandon, man, what are you doing? But he took it. He got across the 25. So at the end of the day, you can't really argue with the guy. He took it. But man, I just love that he's feeling confident and he believes in himself and he's going back there. And that Ryan Day is not limiting him. That he's not like, hey guys, just get the fair catch and get out of there. He's actually letting these guys work and try to get some yardage to help out the offense.
I'll tell you this: would you rather him possibly fair catch it at the 5 where it be downed within the 5? Or him get us out to like the 10, 15 or more, right? So that's what we have been talking about. The game of football is a game of inches. And as a punt returner, you have to be aggressive. That's what you need. Because think about it. If we on the 5 and one penalty, right? One penalty, we backed up in the end zone. That's what you need. Now, we do need to clean up the guys who are supposed to be blocking. I seen Calvin and Hunt. They called it a holding, but it looked more like a block in the back to me. The guys just need to clean that up because there was too many flags on the punt return team. I don't know, is that Keenan Bailey kickoff or is that
Oh, I tweeted about it. I'll have to go back and look. I think it was Bailey and Hartline were on the returns, but I don't remember which one was which. I'll have to go back and check here.
We'll be holding that coach accountable. Looking next week, make sure that's cleaned up. We'll be holding that coach accountable.
I was going to say, if Buckeye Nation does anything, we hold coaches accountable. Right?
For sure.
We don't let them get away with it.